We are live!
Yeah.
Where's our theme music?
Woo! Da, da, da.
No, I'm kidding.
Alright, guys, welcome to episode 20 of The Trade, making comics for print and web. With me today is Carrie Potter of junipercomic.com.
Yep. Hello.
And I've got Robert Truthart. Aha! I got it right. And of writhandshine.com and chanceofdoom.com.
Hi. And no, my name doesn't have a ha at the end of it.
It does now.
It should always have a ha. Come on.
How do you pronounce your name? Trithard. Ha!
Don't think you have Tourette's or something. Don't mind him. He just does that. It just happens.
Like that old guy that after a while he's so drunk he just all he can do is
just winking and doing gun fingers.
Gun fingers all the time.
Yes. Also, that's Melanie Chitwood of steamandnonsense.tumblr.com. I believe, yes.
Yes. Right now I am still in the Tumblr stage due to illness that I'm still working on right now. Oh my god.
So fun.
You illness.
Drink lots of vitamin C.
I've been dead for almost 3 weeks.
That's no good.
Welcome back to the living.
Yes. I'm actually briefly able to sit up. This is an accomplishment. Most people don't understand this. I can sit up. I'm still very dizzy. And I'm still running a fever right now, so...
Keep your head very still.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's what I've been doing. What have you been doing, Carrie, since you've been gone?
Since I've been gone, Sarah got married, so that's super cool. So she has a little more time now to help out with ideas and stuff. So actually just today we sat down and she wrote down a whole bunch of ideas that she had been thinking about for subject matter, and so we went over that and bounced some ideas off each other, which was really nice. Kind of missed doing that, but weddings take over your life so that is a thing. I have done design sketches and stuff for a new comic thing that I was working on. It's sort of like not on a schedule. It's just sort of I acknowledge the fact that I don't have time for it, but I'm just inching ever forward with it. So I got some designs done for that. Just chugging along, and I've been doing stuff for the coloring book that we put around Capitol Hill in Seattle, me and some friends, and so doing pieces for that. So just growing the body of work, I guess.
Very nice.
That's what I've been doing.
Very nice. Yes. Keep at it. Robert, what have you been up to?
Well, this month I've been working on both of my strips, and another full-page comic that I have a writer for, and then I've also been working on coloring my old Chance of Doom strips and fixing some of the other ones that are colored. I had some background things, I had textures and colors in the gutters for some reason, and I decided that it wasn't very good looking, so I decided to go back and take all of that out, and been doing
clean it up.
Yeah, clean it. I'm cleaning the gutters.
We used to do a lot of stuff. We used to mess around with popping stuff out into gutters and stuff, and we really don't do it anymore. And at first I thought we were so clever for doing that, and now I don't like it so much. We only do it if there's literally no space at all for something, and we've done everything else that we can think of. So it's kind of fun.
I think if you're doing it now and again and overlapping maybe a word balloon or something, because it helps you make it flow a little more, that makes sense. But yeah,
you have body parts protruding into the gutter and things like that. So it's kind of interesting that we shied away from it, and then also you are too. So that's kind of funny.
Well, I mean, when I first started coloring, I just wanted to do everything, you know?
Yeah.
I looked back at them, and they just looked way too busy.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just cutting it out and simplifying.
There's something to be said about clean gutters.
Yeah.
If they look real good, real tidy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also good to experiment so that you can fuck up your gutters and then realize you shouldn't have done it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely. It's a learning experience.
Who knows? I could have found something that looked really awesome that I've never seen before, and it would have worked. But
meh.
You won't find that unless if you don't try.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, our main topic was going to be today character design, and basically, since I'm just starting out here, I was just going to talk about how I've stumbled along with mine, and then I was going to grill you guys about how you actually managed to whittle some characters out of the fine clay of life.
Yay.
Yay! So, basically what I did was I literally stumbled into mine. My characters, your character design is going to be focused mainly out of what you've written first before you do the art part of things. You've got to figure out their personality, their flaws, what they like, what they don't like, and at least a little bit of background, especially with main characters. You don't have to go so much in detail with side characters and support characters, but unless it's pertinent to the story.
Mm-hmm.
But overall...
Are you talking about designing a character as in, like, both personality and visual?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of like trying to tie their characterization into their design.
Mm-hmm. Because I found I can't separate the two, honestly. I found it very, very hard to keep the two separated.
It works best if they are kind of working in tandem, I think.
It was really organic for me, so I don't know. I know a lot of other people that struggle with it.
Yeah. So did you just start with this character is a nice person, so that they should have bigger eyes, or a more expressive face, or angular whatever for a not so nice person, or what kinds of things did you think about when you were designing your characters?
Well, basically I was thinking, is this person an asshole? And if they're an asshole...
Criteria. Asshole, check.
Asshole, check, and then they go into here, and then if they're not so much an asshole, they go to here. Yeah. No. They get the nice...
What does an asshole look like?
Actually, a lot of my asshole characters generally are the prettier people. I don't know why!
And because that's your outlook on life, and it's sneaking into your work. It happens to everybody.
It does. It does. Most of the time, any of the quote-unquote prettier people are usually big, giant dicks.
So the prettier the person is in your comic, the bigger a douche canoe they happen to be.
Yes. Douche canoe.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we're going to use our vocabulary today. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, douche canoe is one of my favorite phrases. My boss at work actually put that down on the billboard as saying, "You cannot say this on the floor, Melanie."
You're like, well, my bad.
No, I'm still going to do it anyway. Douche canoe, yes. You know,
sign in the front.
The characters that are assholes are better looking, and is that something that's going to come across really easy for a first time reader? Or
I think so. You know, I at least in a number of different stories, you know what I mean? Because of course you can reference some of your favorite works, comics, reading, etc., movies, television. And quite a few of them seem to do the same type theme, you know. The prettier the person, generally speaking, the more of a douche they are.
Okay.
A lot of times it's just because they're very narcissistic.
Mm-hmm.
Not always. Some
I mean,
some of them are
go,
the.
I think.
Oh, go ahead.
I think that you can do it either way. If you have if you think about Disney stuff, like I like Disney stuff. A lot of their villains are good looking, but in sort of an angular sort of um, they're not unpleasant looking, but they are generally have darker hair usually, or have some sort of angular kind of facial features, like they've got more defined cheekbones and things like that. If you think about things like Scar and Jafar and the mom from Rapunzel or whatever, they've got they're not unpleasant looking, but they're not classically good looking either, sort of. Yeah. But they still look kind of intimidatingly good looking, I guess, in a way. But anyways, so that's kind of interesting, kind of tying somebody's what they're all about and their attitudes and stuff into their physical appearance. But
I mean, there is a lot of stuff written about character design and geometry of if you compare a square to a rectangle to a circle to a triangle and ask people to give those shapes an attitude or
association.
You would think that like the square is more, or that you give them a list of attributes that you can assign to each one of those shapes, and heroic would go to the more square and rectangular shapes than the triangle,
right?
And the triangle would get evil or
right. Well, before you even explain that, I was thinking the triangle's going to be the evil one.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. And usually round is usually more soft or feminine or more innocent.
Jolly.
Or doughy.
Yeah.
Jolly, yes. The jolly fat guy. If anybody can see behind me at Superman, that's all squares. So.
All squares, yeah.
Yep. His head's a square, his fist's a square, his torso's a square. So that's a good point. That shapes matter too, and communicate sort of things based on, I guess, what people are sort of conditioned to identify with. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that most people think critically about it enough to sort of realize that it's happening. But definitely, you communicate certain things by using certain shapes and certain physical features.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, like I said, when I'm thinking of these characters and I'm looking at my story that I've got them in, my strip, for instance, is very distinct, and my characters are ornaments. So they've got a very specific shapes.
Mm-hmm.
And about half of them are douche canoes.
What do you mean they're ornaments?
Like
they're Christmas ornaments.
Oh, okay. That's what your characters are actual Christmas ornaments.
Yeah. I've got this old decrepit angel that was like a family heirloom. The kind that you would put on the top of your tree usually.
Uh-huh.
But since she's so old and ancient, they keep her on the mantle.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, and she kind of runs the show, so to speak. She's kind of the mom character. And my two main characters, one is a little handmade ornament, salt dough ornament that's in the shape of a Christmas tree. Mm-hmm. So I wonder what people are going to think about this little triangle tree. And then I've got a little teddy bear that's his partner in crime.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
That's kind of the good guy / what do you call it? Annoyed at everybody because they're acting like douches.
Mm-hmm. And that's a good thing to think about too. Is like for instance, if you're making a strip that is made of things like ornaments or something else that kind of already exists in a way, like kind of picking and choosing of those things, what shapes you like best or what might lend itself to the character Because I mean, like, Christmas ornaments. Like, I've got a Christmas ornament that's a grasshopper. So it's like, there's like 1,000 different kinds. So if you're doing a strip that, you basically have like a giant catalog of things to pick from. There's still design elements that you can concentrate on, like what would match this character's personality the best, and kind of narrow it down from there.
Yeah. Yeah, so, that was a lot of fun just coming up with that. I actually came up with that on a lunch break, like I was telling you guys about 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was during Christmas. I just thought up of these 2 little ornaments, and they were just arguing like sons of bitches in the back of my head the entire time I was working.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started writing it down as soon as I had a chance to put pen to paper.
There you go.
I ended up filling 2 notebooks of just them arguing.
It's definitely
in my head.
That's how it totally starts sometimes. You just get an idea and you just have to write it down and not even care about, character design or story or anything. You just have to write the dialogue if it's in your head.
Yeah. Yeah. See, and that's where I got the start of my strip. My long form story, it was from a dream.
Nice.
It was kind of weird, but I dreamt about this little steampunk style witch, but she lived in the forest because she didn't like being that close to the big city technology, things like that, And that's all I dreamt. That was that part. That was it. But her house was all steampunk and just awesome, and my brain was just, that's pretty.
That's cool. Yeah, sometimes you can get a good vision of what you want, and kind of develop it from there also. So that's a good way to go about it also. I wish I could remember half my dreams.
It takes some practice. You can condition yourself to remember them more.
Some of them I don't want to remember.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't want to remember most of my dreams.
My brain's real good at creating jacked up bullshit.
Mine are all like paranoia dreams.
Yeah.
Robert, are you scared?
No, I'm not scared. It's just, no, it's, I don't know how to explain it. Just, I don't want to say on air. That's what it is. I don't want,
we'll censor it all out. We won't, though. Don't say it.
I'll explain it to you guys later, but I'm not going to say it.
Okay. Private Robert dreams.
Fine.
Sorry,
Private
everybody.
Robert dreams. That's all right.
You can use your own imaginations.
But yeah, so it just sounds like you have some anxiety there.
Yeah. Okay. So it's kind of I used to have these dreams where I needed to run, but I couldn't. Like no matter how far I pushed myself or how far I leaned forward, I just was going so slow. Like.
Oh man.
Yes, I've had those.
I get similar.
I'd run so fast, and I'd have to crawl, pull myself along the floor.
Yeah.
Kind of like.
I definitely had dreams where I have to dial a phone number and it's urgent, I need to dial a phone number, and I'll try. It's like a push thing, and I'll keep pushing the wrong button, almost there, and push the wrong button, and the more I try, the more stressed out I get, and then I wake up refreshed and ready for the day.
Yes. I keep having ones where I'm fighting. I keep having ones where I'm fighting, and I'm trying to punch somebody, and it's weak sauce, and I'm just like, what the hell is wrong? The heck? I could punch 200 pounds worth of pressure. What the hell is this baby ass shit? What the fuck?
Do you like how we lured everybody in? We lured everybody in with a promise of character design talk, and we just fell into a weird anxiety dream hole. How long have we been talking? 10 minutes? We're doing good.
Yeah.
Doing so good. Tell us your anxious dream in the comments.
Hey, why not? It's fun.
So anyway, character design, right?
So how did you guys, Carrie, okay? How did you and Sarah come up with like Barry and Douglas?
We had decided that we were going to do.
Did you like write them first?
Kind of like I knew that I wanted to do kind of something that was sort of inspired by some of the cartoons that have been on TV in the last couple of years, like Adventure Time and Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends and Chowder and stuff like that, where they're just like really goofy and colorful and weird. And I wanted to do something kind of offbeat a little bit, because that's kind of the cartoons that I grew up with. Were all like old Nickelodeon cartoons, where they're weird enough that like you kind of question whether or not your kid should be watching them sometimes after you've grown up. But stuff like that, and so I wanted to create something that I could write about indefinitely. So I came up with a magic house that sort of spews content, like, opens portals to different places, and like there's little creatures running around, and like, if there's we went through this huge design phase that lasted the better part of a year, and we kind of tried to figure out, like, okay, well, if it's going to be fantasy, what kind of fantasy things are there? And so, it's like, oh, well, unicorns maybe, and it's just like, well, the unicorn should definitely be a dude, and he should definitely be a total wang, like, because I like the juxtaposition between
douche canoes exist in writing. That's it.
Yeah, I wanted one of them to be kind of a turd, and I thought it would be cool if he was really like pretty, like not even like handsome, I guess, but really pretty, and which kind of felt like it went with the whole unicorn thing. Like maybe all the unicorns are just like stupidly pretty and are kind of vain and all that stuff. So and so to that end, we also made him pink. And I don't know, like, his sister is blue, so we kind of flip-flopped the colors a little bit, because I don't like gender specific colors. And so we went through, like, there was like a Chewbacca looking girl at one point where she was like super hairy, like a kind of a Sasquatchy kind of thing, and we tossed her out. And there was like a Sphinx type lady, and we tossed her out too. And there was a hamster girl that we almost included and didn't. And Douglas, I thought if there was going to be a unicorn, there ought to be a dragon too. And at first I kind of wanted him to have like a humanish face, which is kind of why he has like that kind of like
Scottish jowls
and giant jowls. Well, the first few design pictures we made of him, he looked a lot like Hellboy, and we had to really dial it back because I don't want to get called up by anyone with a cease and desist anything ever. So, but once we figured out what we kind of wanted, we had to like figure out a style that we wanted to draw it in, and like, proportions of things. Like, do we want their legs to be really short? Do we want them to be really willowy? Do we want, how fat do we want Douglas to be before it becomes unpleasant looking? You know what I mean? Like, and how do we want Barry to almost look super feminine, or do we want him to look like a more beefy male horse? And what does that even look like? And then having to go through Google Images and look up lots of different kinds of horses. Like, we looked up the horse in Mulan, and we looked up Pegasus from Hercules, and there was a couple other ones, I think. But and then we had like an almanac open of all these different horses and like what their legs look like when they're standing and with one leg relaxing and stuff. And so it's like it sort of went from, what is this character like and how should we communicate that through his appearance, to like how technically do you draw any of this stuff. And so and then we just tweaked and tweaked and tweaked and tweaked. Like, for instance, we wanted Douglas to have hair, so he had sideburns but no head hair. and then we decided that made him look way too old. So we gave him this little poof of hair on the top of his head, and we had to figure out like how long his horns should be, and they ended up being really stubby. And like, you know, can he fly with his tiny wings or not? You know, and kind of having to, you know, make all of these little decisions and stuff. And we went through a lot of color palettes with both of them, and we just did it over and over and over and over again until everything seemed kind of right, and then we just went with it. And oh, and Mavis used to be, like, I drew a picture of Mavis. I wish I had it. I think Sarah has all of the design pictures. There's just piles and piles of paper. We didn't even do it in notebooks. We just had, like, computer paper, and we just drew all over them, and they're just in a giant messy pile somewhere. But Mavis was this, like, spidery, crotchety old lady at first, which is really weird compared to, like, what she is now.
She's adorable
and
now.
And Sarah was like, we can't do this. I was like, oh, okay. And so we kind of, like, went back and figured out what she should look like and tried to make her not look too much like Madame Foster from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. But she still kind of does anyway. I don't just, like, looking...
Anybody. Yeah. I don't think anybody's going to notice.
I don't think that show's even on anymore, so unless you were into it when it was on, that might not come across. But, so yeah, it was just a lot of, like, kind of sitting down and discussing, like, do we want this or do we want this? How does this work? You know, like, does this kind of go with his personality? Is he too big? Is he too small? Is he too skinny? Like, you know, and trying out all of it and then sort of, like, making note of what worked and what didn't. And actually their designs have changed a little bit in the process of just making the strip. Like, Douglas is way less, like, he's still fat, but he's not, like, all over the place fat. Like, he's not super amorphous looking anymore. Like, if you go back to the first strip, he's sitting on the couch in the first panel, and he's just all over the place. So he has a more defined shape now. And, like, we figured out, like mid-posting, like, how to draw Barry's head from the side. So at first, if you go back in the archives, he has this really straight snout, and we sort of figured out that there would be a bump where his head would be, and then it would come down by his eyes and then turn into a snout, which seems so obvious now, but we didn't know that first, and I still don't know how to draw him from the front. So, so there's stuff like that, and we did do turnarounds and stuff to try to, you know, hammer out what they would look like from all sides, and we did facial expression charts and stuff, and a lot of that's changed mid-project as well. So certain things happen on the fly, but it's good to be as prepared as you can be, I guess. And yeah, so we it was a lot of trial and error and a lot of looking at other people's stuff to kind of figure out what we wanted. But sorry, that was really involved and really long.
No. Informative.
But that's what we did. So it took like 8 months to do all of that stuff, and we met every week to sit down and draw for 8 hours, and then go home and do it again next week. So, and kind of like passing sticky notes full of drawings back and forth at work and stuff when we still worked together, and yeah. So it was just a lot of carefully piecing things together. And my new story, I drew her face first, like the main character. I drew her face first and kind of liked it and just kept developing it a little bit, and then kind of going, what's this character about? Why am I so drawn to her? Why is this happening? And like trying to like build a story around her. And so that's finally started to kind of get fleshed out. And then like her brother is a fraternal twin, and so I had to figure out like what would she look like if she was a boy, and then drawing a bunch of that stuff, and you know, like how close do I want them to look together, because like most fraternal boy-girl twins don't look much alike, but I suppose they could a little bit. But like what, like if this is what they look like, what would their parents look like, and having to do that. And then yeah, like there's like a character, a side character that I made, and he's kind of like a zoologist slash cryptozoologist slash like trophy hunter. And so I'm like, what would this person look like? He's kind of crazy. So I gave him like this giant Bushman beard, and made him kind of old and stocky, and it just feels right.
Does he pull random shit out of his beard now and again whenever they need something? He'll be like, oh yeah, hold on.
He's not that crazy. He's like, I've got a camper that doubles as like a monster hunting headquarters. He's that kind of crazy. So so there's that kind of stuff happening, and you know, sometimes I'll make up somebody's name first and then kind of go, what would somebody with a name like this look like? And I don't even know how to describe that one, but like, what do words look like? I don't know. Anyways. So I mean, there's like a lot of different ways that you can come up with a character design, but I think that the main thing after you've thought of it is just sit there and maybe don't go with the first thing that pops into your brain exactly, and like don't get so attached to it that you feel like any change will sort of like ruin some kind of integrity to your vision or something like that, because I think that everything that you do deserves some time to polish, you know, and it's really hard when you're really excited to take that time, but because I didn't want to, and Sarah made us, and that was really important, because yeah, like the character design is complicated, and there's certain things, if you don't take the time to really think critically about it, could really damage the way that that it works visually and works in a scene, or it like won't read right. Like so you have to really think about it and really be willing to make big changes if something is not working, and kind of forsake your original plan if it's not working. So that's a bit of advice I would give also. My 2 years of piddly experience. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking. Robert, how did you design your characters?
I didn't.
Yay!
Any of that. I didn't think about it one bit.
That's fantastic, and I love it.
I didn't do any sketches beforehand.
So happy.
I just started. Right?
I said I'm so happy that is a thing that happened.
I didn't do any sketches beforehand, and it has hurt me a lot, I think. Mm-hmm. I just started drawing. I just started doing the comic and putting it out, and not even caring about any of the implications of the shape of I knew I wanted Shine to be taller than Writhe.
That's helpful though.
And I made Shine bald because I made the guy bald and then called him Shine because he was shine off of his head.
Awesome.
Just stupid stuff like that. And if you look back through my archive, you can see a big change in the just the way I draw them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a remarkable change between the detail I put in them and the amount of time I put into them. Mm-hmm. But like, for instance, those two characters are the only characters in that strip that don't have visible mouths. And
I did notice
that. It confuses a lot of people all the time. Like, mm-hmm. Everybody thinks that the black triangle sort of in the middle of the guy's face is their mouth.
Oh, I've always read that as the shadow underneath their nose.
But it's, okay, thank you.
Yeah, me too. I was like, what?
It has always been the shadow underneath their nose.
Mm-hmm.
But people just don't get that, and it puts them off, Yeah,
I could see where that, if that's what you thought, that would be odd.
See, I can't I hear that, and I look at the pictures, and for the life of me, I can't picture that triangle as a mouth. I'm
gonna look at it real quick. Be a jerk and look at it.
But some people look at it, and that's what they think. And it would have been really helpful if I had done some designs and showed them to people and said, "What do you think?"
See, like now that even that though you said that, like that's what people see, I'm looking at it and I just can't bend my brain to see it that way.
Yeah,
And,
I always went with the idea that they didn't have mouths, that it was
where a
just,
nose goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where the nose goes, and like the bridge of the nose points directly to it. So unless your nose feeds in directly into your mouth,
Yeah.
oh, I can kind of see it now. I've been staring at it long enough. If that's how people are reading that, that is odd. But I see the shadow under the nose.
You both are comics people, and you both draw, so you kind of get it. It's people that.
But like your Hunchback character is right next to him. He also similarly has a shadow under his nose.
Yeah.
So that's a design choice that has clearly been made. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's just one of those things that it could have had a little bit of done to it to make it better or more presentable to a wider audience. I didn't do any design. Well, I guess I did some design with Rise and Shine in their personalities.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't write any of it down. I just knew. I'm like, I want Rise to be the new naive guy, and I want Shine to be the curmudgeon-y asshole who's been there forever.
Mm-hmm.
And, I want the owner of the club to be hunchback drunk, just because. And I didn't
why not?
do any design on Boo at all. I just drew a rounder face girl, and over time, her nose has changed, her hair has changed, everything, and it just keeps morphing into, different things. Or if I see a style of drawing that I like, or if I'm looking through a comic and I see, oh wow, that's a really cool way to draw an ear. I'm one of my characters. Okay, I'm gonna do it like this. So I didn't do any character design.
That's okay. Sometimes that stuff does happen on the fly, and even if you do take go to painstaking lengths to design something, it's not going to stay the same the entire time. Like if you do it for long enough, you're going to change. Like all it took for me to change part of the way that I draw mouths right now is reading like a couple of issues of Bone, and that was it. Like things influence you all the time. If you consume anything, it will influence you in some way and inform what you're doing.
Yeah, I just bought an older book by Roger Landridge.
Mm-hmm.
Landridge or whatever, how you pronounce his name.
I don't know.
But he does the comic book Snarked right now. He also did some older, like, what's it called? Fred the Clown, and his drawing style is really awesome. So I've been looking at that for the past, few days, and I just started drawing like that in my next strip. Kind of corny and goofy and round, and anything you're looking at will influence you. And I don't know. I guess that's how I design characters.
Right. So from a
throwing it down.
Yeah. So you can do it that way too. Have you thought about, like, since things have kind of changed and evolved as you've gone along, especially it seems like with Rise and Shine things have changed a lot, have you ever considered giving Rise and Shine both as characters like mouths, or are you committed to having them mouthless? Like, it might be weird for them to grow mouths suddenly, but I don't know if it, like, from a reader's standpoint, if it would be unforgivable or anything, but...
Speaking of that, I just announced something earlier this last week about a big change or something that you have to see to believe.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Let me pull it up and give you guys a link.
Oh boy.
You should have received Melanie. You should have received a notice for it. But
I saw on Facebook that you were doing something sneaky and spectacular.
Yes. Let me put the link in and look at that. It's I actually did a full page.
Woo!
Next week will be another full page. But if you page down all the way to the bottom.
Cool. Yeah. That's awesome. You know what that reminds me of a little bit in reverse is you know, in the Matrix, how Keanu's mouth gets all covered up by his own skin and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of this in reverse, kind of just like.
Yeah.
Yay.
So, like he kind of finally found his voice, and he's able to, you know, express himself, and he finally got pissed off enough where, you know,
he grew a mouth.
he didn't grow a mouth. I mean, because
he's had one the whole time, of course,
and
but
it just, I don't know, I don't really know the reason I didn't give them mouths, but it was just I wasn't smiling a lot at the time that I started drawing the comic strip.
Okay.
So I didn't want to, you know, they were both kind of, you know, pissed off people, and
yeah,
they didn't have an expression,
mm-hmm.
you know. And
yeah.
I kept it. I kept not drawing a mouth. I thought about giving them, you know, a little line here and there, but it's like I kept it because I wanted to try to explore how to give them expressions without the mouth, and that's hard.
It's hard. It's so hard.
Like I
think about how many mouths I've drawn in Juniper, and in how many different ways in different situations, and how their mouth shapes and stuff kind of go along with their characters in a way, and like just like how much would have been lost, I guess, if that hadn't been an option. So I'm curious to see if you really kind of like if this opens up something for you, like artistically, you know, because I mean, like all of your characters have mouths in Chance of Doom.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see how Rise and Shine changes a little bit now that everybody has mouths. Or maybe is Shine gonna have a mouth also?
I don't know. I don't actually know where I'm going with it. I just
that's okay.
This was the title of that strip is called Breaking Point, so I knew this was like a pinnacle point in the strip, and I just decided to give him a mouth and
interesting.
show that, you know. But yeah, it was just I left them not having mouths so I can explore how to give them expressions. It's a lot in the eyes and a lot in the body posture.
Yep.
And
I mean, that's a good thing to think about too.
You know, I'm still working on it, and it's really hard. But you know, having that mouth there is really.
Yeah, it's an asset.
It's kind of essential.
It is. Yep.
You know.
It would be funny if you broke the fourth wall a little bit and have Rise comment on how Shine's the last one with no mouth. I don't know if that would go with anything you're doing, but
yeah.
I don't know that I've broken the fourth wall yet. It's kind of the danger zone, but.
Oh, I've definitely broken the fourth wall.
It can be done correctly, but it's.
I didn't do it correctly.
It can be done correctly. Look at Deadpool. The end.
Yeah.
I love Deadpool so much. Did you guys see that? Sorry, I'm derailing again. Yes. There is like some test footage for a Deadpool movie.
Yeah, that was cool.
It looks so good. I want it so bad.
Oh my God.
It's so good and so perfect and everything Deadpool should be. Sorry, I had to say something. Somebody has
blowing.
trumpet allergies.
Yes.
That's really interesting. I'm about Writhe's mouth showing now. I'm gonna be interested to see how that goes. It'll make him more. I mean, already he's like 1,000 times more expressive, and anyone who is confused at all by the shadow under his nose is not going to be confused anymore.
Yeah.
So
and also, you know, I don't know if I'm gonna give him a mouth permanently, or if I'm just going to do it when I need it. You know.
Right.
I could.
Yeah.
You know, when he's in that extreme, you know, emotion of happiness or anger or something like that, I might give it to him, or just leave it out. You know, I'll have to see. It's just, you know.
Sometimes that stuff just sort of like you do it on the fly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff in Juniper that I don't think about before I do it.
You're just like, okay, there we go.
This seems okay. This seems fun. I'll just do it. I'm just making up rules as I go.
Oh, it's due tomorrow. I gotta Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing with the stuff.
And the later in the evening it gets, and the more tired I am, the poorer my decision making is. So that's a thing. I just want to be done. I don't care. Just use this color. I don't give a shit.
It's like, I love you. Do this.
Yep. So, that's interesting too, that there's so many different things that contribute to a good character design. And also, I was going to mention, and I don't think any of us have done it, but I've seen it before, where people have, like, floating appendages, or like their head's not attached to their body by a neck, or their arms or hands are free floating, like Haunter from Pokemon.
Rayman or whatever it is.
Yeah, which can work, but like, I was gonna point out that that's one of the biggest things that bugs me about some character designs is when you have free floating appendages.
I don't
know why that matters for me to talk about that, but I'm just like, personal pet peeve.
That's why I couldn't play the video game.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, like, I like Haunter from Pokemon, but I think if you're going to have a background, like, his hands could so easily get lost in the background. You have to think about your characters in an environment as well, like, not just.
Is that character like a ghost or something?
He's a ghost. He's a big purple ghost, and his hands are up like this in little claws, but they're not like attached to anything, so it's just his hands.
Okay. Well, I can the ghost, but
Yeah. Yeah, he's supposed to be a ghost, but there's huge dangers of sort of not being able to describe things properly in a way that people can visually read, and also kind of having your intentions lost on your readers if you don't have if you have things floating off in space, and also like the mouth thing, like if your character's missing eyes or a mouth in any capacity, it gets really tricky to make them. It gets harder, I think, for them to interact with their environment, and for any kind of facial expressions to come across the way that you intended them to, I guess. So that there's certain things that you can do on accident where it's not apparent that it's going to be a big deal until you put that character into a scene or into a situation where you go, oh, that would have been kind of important. Or like, oh, this person's disembodied hands disappear into the background, and it's not obvious that they're part of his body.
Hello?
Or, I really want this character to be screaming. How do I describe that with just eyes? And things like that. So there are certain pitfalls, I think, that you can fall into that you won't know about until it actually becomes apparent when you're working on your project. And I don't think anyone makes too big of a deal about, like, if you make changes mid-strip or mid-project. I don't think I've ever seen anyone freak out about that stuff.
Yeah, none of my readers really freaked out about it when I changed Maxine's eyes, the girl with the mohawk.
Yeah. Did you?
People mentioned it. They're like, hey, you changed her eyes. I didn't even know people would notice it, but they did. So, like, hey, cool.
You changed your eyes, too. He's got kind of like a cat eye mascara thing, or eyeliner thing going on, right?
Well, it's, yeah, and I put lines, like horizontal lines, over her, the white part of her eye, and the pupil like a white rectangle.
Okay.
But it wasn't like that before. She had just...
Oh, I see, in your character, in your cast page.
Yeah. So people noticed when I changed that. They didn't complain about it or anything. They're like, hey, cool.
Different.
Different.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, the changes I'll make will be more subtle over time instead of doing it.
Different, yeah.
Huh?
I didn't know if you heard me earlier. I kind of cut out there for a minute. It reminds me of the character design change Scott Kurtz did for Sienna in PvP.
Oh, and he finally decided to show Brent's eyes.
He designed.
Oh, you're cutting out. Oh, did we lose her? Whoa, not quite.
Out again.
Yeah. But honestly,
oh.
Am I still alive?
Vaguely. So you're talking about how he had sunglasses. He was designed with sunglasses, right? And eventually,
yeah,
I think he realized that it wasn't expressive enough with Brent basically having no eyes, and so they had a little story arc where his vision became really terrible, and his optometrist was like, "How often do you wear these sunglasses?" And he was like, "All the time, forever." And so he got prescribed actual glasses. Now you can see his eyeballs, and everybody's like, "Oh," because it'd been like 12 years or something of seeing Brent with glasses on, or sunglasses rather,
yeah.
And now he just has glasses. But I like it. I like seeing his eyeballs.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's more expressive. You can actually get a little more emotion out of his face, and
well, he's had some crazy character design changes throughout the history of PvP. Max Powers looks completely different now in a good way.
Oh yeah.
Like his style's changed a lot,
like Max.
but also even though his style's changed, like Brent looks almost looks essentially the same design-wise that he used to. I think Scott used to do stuff with traditionally with inks and stuff. But Max looks completely different now, and I'm digging it. So he's got flowing blonde locks and things like that. So yeah, I mean, if you do a project for long enough, I mean, you might get sick of looking at what you did before, or you might realize suddenly that it doesn't make any sense, or like you can't remember why you started doing that in the first place, or it's just a gag that has been going on for way too long and you have to switch it up. And and because I mean, you can't. It's nice to have a recurring joke, or like have kind of like this inside joke that your readers know about, and I think that's something that people like to be a part of. But I think eventually, if it goes on long enough, it can get a little stale. And that might be a good time to do a character design change in either a smaller, kind of soft reboot kind of way. But yeah, I mean,
you had to look forward
well,
to.
Hell, yeah, definitely. Just with me sitting down and doing my strips, because I actually have drawn some, even though I've only been able to vaguely sit up right now.
No.
I've been kind of trying to lay there going, fall over.
Dedication. You're still working when you feel that crappy.
Trying to.
Yeah.
But I've gotten a few strips done, and just after difference, and I'm going, no! I want to scrap the first 4.
Don't do it!
I want to start again!
Put them up.
I think that just might be the illness talking.
Listen, either leave them or scrap them. Scrap them and don't make the same ones over again. Make something totally new. Don't keep drawing the same 4 strips over and over again.
Exactly.
Like if you hate the idea and you need to scrap it because the idea is bad, like that's fine. But don't draw the same 4 strips over 10 times. That's the worst. The worst.
No, there's one element.
I think
there's one element. There's one element out of them. Doesn't look right.
And what's that? What's that element that doesn't look right?
It's their butt, isn't it? Their hams.
No, it's the teddy bear, little teddy bear character.
Okay.
He's just not coming out right, and I want to redo him. Just him, though. Nothing else. Everything else I can live with. Placement, everything, but the little teddy bear himself, I've got his character design one way, and it's every time I try to draw it in the strip, it's just not coming out right. So I think I need to sit here and like draw him like 20, 30, 50, 100 times.
Yeah.
Well, you'll end up doing.
I think that's the only element out of the strip.
So let's workshop it. What's bothering you about him? Like, is his head just not 3D enough, or like what's going on with him?
Can you share an image of him? Can you like screen share?
I don't know. I've sat down. I'll sit down and I'll draw him.
Mhm.
I don't have anything up digital.
That's okay.
I've got my notebook here. Give me a minute.
Maybe you can do a scan and put it in the. Can you load images into the Libsyn page, like the blog part?
I have no idea.
I should be able to. I'll see if it's got enough room for it.
Picture of your character in there for reference. Oh, focus, dang it. So what's making you sad?
I still can't see it.
I can see a fuzzy picture.
Is she cut out?
I think she may have.
I just see black.
Okay. I can try to screenshot it. I'm gonna screenshot it.
Okay.
And I'm gonna make a JPEG out of it. And then I'm gonna post it in the comments.
Oh, there she is.
Because I'm clever.
Oh, okay. Blurry.
I think it's gonna be blurry. Here.
Okay. So what?
So he has a bow tie? Is that what's going on?
Okay.
Are you still there, Melanie? Oh. So when you are able to come back, Mel, tell us what you hate about it.
I'm still here.
Okay. So is it like his proportions? Is it the shape? Like, do you find that like his shape is hindering expressiveness in any way, like, or that he's not 3D enough for you? Like, I know, like, if it's a Christmas ornament, he might be kind of two-dimensional anyway. If he's like a tag that goes on a tree, but.
So do you want him to be?
Well, he is. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, I want him a little more 3D, and his head is really my worst pet peeve because he really doesn't have a neck. You know, I mean, teddy bears really don't have necks, right? It's pretty much this round head sitting on its little body. Right. You can draw the body any way you really want, but it's the head that's really giving me horrible, horrible hell. And I'm like,
how so?
Guys, not doing it right. Brain, make it right.
Do you think it doesn't look like an actual teddy bear, or why? What is giving you the problem? I don't understand, because it looked fine. You know what? You just don't know what it is about it that's bugging you.
I don't know.
Do you base it off? Did you base the drawing off?
I don't know. I don't know what it is about it.
If it was me, is the character like a flat thing, or is it like an actual little teddy bear?
Little tiny teddy bear.
Okay. To me, I would do something to make his snout pop out a little bit more. Like you might need a line that comes down like for the flat part of his face, and then pop it out towards the end of his nose. Yeah, and then go back in, because he's at a 3/4 view in this shot. And we'll put a picture for everybody who's just listening. But you might want to pop his snout forward a little bit more. He's got a lot of forehead, so I don't know how you feel about that. And so that might be something worth thinking about, like kind of reducing the size of that forehead, or just
increase or reduce,
or something.
Well, what I was basing him off of was like in school when my teachers, at least through like elementary school, gave ornaments to their students during holiday.
Mm-hmm.
And I had one teacher one year. She got a really good deal. It was one of those clearing houses where you can order, a gross of ornaments or whatever. And she got all these little teddy bear ones, and she went hand stitched the year on their belly.
That's cool.
And gave them out to the students, and it was really cute.
Cute.
That's kind of where the idea came from, because you get all sorts of different types of ornaments for Christmas. I've got handmade ones, I've got bought ones I was given, I've bought a couple, of course, of my favorite characters, or things like that. So literally anything can be a Christmas ornament technically. Even though they can sometimes not be quite Christmassy, hence the bow on his neck there. I was going to make it a little more Christmassy. This will be in color. I'm just going to digitally color it in Manga Studio, which I'm still trying to get the hang of.
Yeah, it's a little bit tough, especially if you're used to Photoshop and you switch over. It's a little bit tough.
I think this is.
Oh, good! Yay! You sicko.
Whoa!
That's gnarly.
No, that scares me. No.
I'm gonna have nightmares forever. What?
Sorry.
That's okay.
You're wrong. You're so wrong, Robert. No. You ruined my teddy bears. No.
Yeah, just draw him with half his face ripped off. Problem solved. No, okay, I'm gonna send you a thing. I'm gonna find it, and we can put this in the comments as well. Shoot. One of the things that really helped me figure out, let's see, it was an expression tutorial. I know I've talked about this on this podcast before, but so Tracy Butler, who does a comic called Lackadaisy, all of her characters are cats. But it's super well drawn, and she talks a lot about the construction of her heads, and because they're cats, I think it's going to help. Here, I'll post the link. Here you go. Because they're cats, I think it's going to help you with the bear's face, because they have a similar kind of short, snouty nose-mouth combo. And just even if you sat there and copied some of these pictures or some of these drawings and kind of got what it feels like to your hand to draw a head and a snout that way, that might help a lot. People have beef against tracing sometimes, but really I think it's a good way to teach yourself muscle memory for certain things, especially if that concept is foreign to you, like if you've never done it before. Like every week I draw Barry at least 4 times, and I still have a hard time visualizing his head from different angles and stuff. Like my brain wants to render faces in flat human faces, that's all it wants to do. So it's a bit of a stretch sometimes, and photo references and kind of getting your brain unstuck from flat face shapes, I think. If you have to trace to do it, just do it,
Yeah.
But there's
like I said, I think I just need to sit here and just draw the piss out of him when I'm not running 104 fever.
That would help also. But yeah, check out that link. She towards the bottom, she has drawn her characters a bazillion times, and some of them have longer snouts, and some of them have more petite, faces and stuff. And she shows them from the side and from 3/4, and they even have ears right about where your teddy bear's ears would go. And so that might be nice to see kind of where they would attach to the head in comparison to everything else. And so, I don't know. I'm just in love with this tutorial, that's all. And also all of his art.
Yeah, definitely. I love Lackadaisy. I love Lackadaisy.
Dudes listening, seriously, if you haven't read Lackadaisy, do it immediately. Even if you're not into I'm not really into anthro stuff very much, but you sort of forget they're cats halfway through. It's really, really good. Fantastic. It's about a speakeasy in the 1920s. It's fucking amazing, and the way she colors is amazing. Ugh, god damn it. Anyways, I'm just.
Yeah, I quit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, she's amazing, and we all quit comics now, because she's incredible. So, but she's put a lot of work into learning how to do this, and if we want to do things like this, we have to also put in a lot of work into doing this stuff. So don't get discouraged if something that doesn't look spot on the first time. You know what I mean? There's always room for polish and stuff.
Tons of room for it.
Yep.
Always room.
Yep. And if something doesn't look right to you or you hate it, like you're the master of your own creation, so fix it if you hate it. Especially, like, yeah, don't feel... I mean, like, I think it's easy to not want to kill your babies when it comes to, like, your creative endeavors. Like, but sometimes the first shot's not the right shot, and you just have to keep trying until something clicks or something works. And I think that actually isn't kill your darlings is what they call it in writing when you have to scrap something.
Yes.
Yeah, that's important. Sometimes what you come up with sucks, and you just have to let it go. Yeah. I create bad things all the time. All the time.
Yeah, Melanie, even though you think the teddy bear doesn't look right, and you don't know what it is, just fix it in the next one.
Yep.
You know, just keep working on it. You know,
move forward.
You'll get more strips out of it, and you won't keep concentrating on the first ones.
And people will forgive you for having kind of clumsy first strips, because I definitely cringe every time I look back at my first ones. Oh crap! Did we lose her?
Yeah, I think we did.
Dang it! Do we have to invite her back?
I don't know. I don't even know if we're still recording or something.
Let's see. It's definitely still live. We lost Melanie. Where's like the invite biz? Are we allowed to do that? Can she just come back in whenever she wants?
No, I guess we're not allowed to invite. Although she could.
What?
That's crazy.
Cripes.
Well, she has the link. I mean, it's not like she doesn't know where it is, because she sent me the link for it.
Yeah, I wonder if she can still see it. Well, let's hang on just a second and keep yakking, maybe. And if she pops on, she pops on. And if she isn't, maybe we can cut this one off at the knees.
Yeah. And that Like-A-Daisy thing is awesome.
Oh my god, it's so good. This must make it into the podcast blog section, because people need to see this.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just like... It's so interesting how much of it relies on very specific construction of the characters. Like she's able to draw the same thing the same way over and over, because she has a very specific construction of their heads and of like the proportion of the eyes in relativity to the mouth and things like that. And like she's gotten so good at it that she can draw it from literally any angle. And that's incredible, and I can't do that stuff yet. But you know, dang it, I'm just looking through it again. It's so freaking good.
I was getting lost reading it, and I was like, oh, that's awesome.
And also, now that you have the option of drawing mouths, like, look at all the crap you can do with them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I learned that having lacking one of the facial features is giving me a handicap, and that's why I decided to give everybody what they needed in Chance of Doom. You know.
Yeah. Okay, so that sort of occurred to you in time to sort of head that one off at the pass with Chance of Doom.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's. I don't know. Like, I've never really tried. I don't have any mouthless characters or eyeless characters, and I'm trying to think if that's ever happened to me. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, and sometimes, you know, it's weird how sometimes those handicaps really aren't apparent until you get going.
Uh-huh.
So, but it's okay to make mistakes. Melanie's back, hooray!
It wouldn't let me back in, bastard.
Yeah, we couldn't. We discovered that we don't have permission to invite you back in. Hanging out is a nightmare.
Yes.
A living, horrible nightmare.
Yes. Well, I finally figured out where my problem was, so yay!
Yay! Tell us what it is.
I've got a little wireless antenna hooked to the back of my computer, and it fell.
Uh-huh.
And it wasn't getting any signal where it fell. I was like, oh, that's
Yay.
fine.
How will my internet work when my antenna is pointed right at the carpet?
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, right. Stupid internet.
But yeah. I think
So-
what we were saying before you left is to just try studying the hell out of stuff, and also
Basically
thinking,
draw the
like,
piss out of it.
practicing thinking critically about your own work is a huge step forward also. So rather than saying, I don't know what it is, and just dropping it, it's really important to just muddle through and figure out what it could be, even if it takes asking a friend or a family member to tell it to you straight. What's wrong with this picture, and they won't want to sometimes, but force them.
Well,
You find the right people that will tell you without worrying about hurting your feelings.
Yeah, because seriously, with stuff like this, you cannot worry about anyone hurting your feelings. Like, you have to chuck that stuff right out the door. Like, that, people sparing you from being sad about something or facing down a mistake that you made, like, that's not going to get you anywhere. Like,
that's
you have
actually going to hurt you.
Yeah, you cannot spend all of your time getting critiques from people who are just going to say, I like it. That's not going to help. So you're going to have moments where it hurts real bad, but but get over it, because that's how you make better art.
but that's my darling, yeah.
No, kill it.
Darling is an ugly, ugly baby.
Yeah, kill it with fire. Nuclear orbital strike, it's the only way to be sure. Yeah, so, I mean, if something's wrong with your drawing, there's something wrong with your drawing, and you just gotta figure out what it is, fix it, move forward.
I just can't see it right now, so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to actually give it to you guys, because I can't give it to said family members due to the fact that they just look at me like I'm fucking nuts when I say comics, and they just look at me going,
So, my honest critique is that his face looks too flat, so study that tutorial and try to learn to draw snouts. Also, having his head be a complete circle without stopping to leave room for that ear, like, it'll make it look more three-dimensional if the ear looks connected to his head and not just behind it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, in his crotch, we're talking about teddy bear crotches now. If that crotch line extends out toward his into his left leg, it'll create some suggestion of three-dimensionalness.
If you make his limbs cylinders, that will help. Like the very ends of his arms and his legs, give it that.
Oh, I know what you're saying. I was like, well, they kind of are already, but no, like, actually suggest the bottom of a cylinder at the terminus.
So the bottom of his foot as opposed to the sides of it.
Yes. And are you taking notes?
Yes.
Also, if you're going to do so it looks right now like he's standing straight like this and turning his head like this. And so if his whole body is supposed to be pivoted 3/4, you're going to need to line his bow tie up with his more under his mouth, and have kind of and also have his belly button go under his bow tie in the same arc. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because if his belly's supposed to be coming forward, you want to have, like, I would go ahead when you draw him, just right from his chin, draw kind of a curved line all the way down to his crotch, and that's where his belly goes. So, and then you'll want to take his right arm, if it's supposed to be 3/4, and bring it a little bit further over his side than the left arm.
His little paws, at least his hands.
Yeah.
I couldn't decide if I wanted to do the cylinder style, or if I wanted to kind of give him a rounded sort of, almost like a hand pad.
Do you want to do like a mitten?
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. But
that could work too.
I didn't know if that looked too weird.
No, I think that probably on the weird scale, having a cylinder or a mitten is going to sort of be on par with each other. It would actually look really weird if he had actual fingers. That would be the weirdest. Yeah. So that would be like bizarre. Don't do that. Don't give him
have Wolverine claws.
Or
come on.
Or you could do the cylinder with stitching, like where his paw bits go. You know what I mean? Like, and that could work too. giving him thumbs in that mitten hand would also give you options if he was holding something. He wouldn't just have to like robo pinch it to pick something up. He could actually manipulate it with his hands a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's something to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Unless of course you're going to do a gingerbread man.
Mm-hmm.
Then those
you have no
guys
choice.
have the mitten hands.
Yeah.
So.
And you get robo hands. But you could do cool things like if you had like something with like two-dimensional hands, you could do weird twisting things with it to make it interesting instead of just having kind of like little robot movements. So that would be interesting too. Yeah, all of this stuff I think comes down to construction of your character. Like you've got a design going, it's just like trying to put that design together so that you can kind of pivot it wherever you need it to be and still have it make sense.
Right.
And then also with something like this where he's basically like he's basically a human shape. That's kind of,
head, torso, arms, legs.
Yep. And so if you think about like if he was a person, you like let's see. I wish I could like sit down and show you like sketch you out what I was talking about. I could screen share it.
Yes, it's called Manga Studio.
It is called Manga Studio. Let me bring that up. I'm going to make a little doodly-doo of your bear real quick.
Woo! Doodly-doos.
Doodly-doos. Okay. Everybody at home is riveted about things they can't see. We'll have to really direct them to...
videos!
Okay. I'm going to try to do this. No one laugh at me. Or laugh more than you would otherwise. Okay.
Understand, I am laughing at Manga Studio and not you. There you go.
Oh, come on. You're making me so sad right now. Okay. So you've got your head. You've got like a kind of this kind of action for his body, and you've got like it's probably too big. Why is this eraser so small? Okay. So you've got like limbs like this, and they come straight from his head. So let's say you want to, okay, so that's like the relative shape of your bear, right? So you would probably want to do something like for a preliminary sketch of like adjusting the roundness of his face by making a line like this. And now you know where the center of his face is going to be. And you can go like this for, classic where his eyes are going to go. But even further than that, you can go right from here, from where that ends, because this is the middle line, and do it again for his belly. So now you know where his crotch should be, like right here. You know where his bow tie should be, right here. You know where his snout's going to be, right here. And now you know like where his ears ought to be too, because they kind of like, and this one should come like that probably, to kind of like show that it is part of his head. When you complete the line like that, it sort of makes things pop back like they're behind his head. But if you leave that space open, it's like, it makes sense on the 3/4 side for it to be behind, but for the one that's closest to you, it maybe should have, a space there. And then you can kind of like take this arm, pop it forward a little bit like that. Give him some of this action.
Oh yeah, bear action. Yeah.
I was in the furries.
Oh god. And then you can either like give him a little mitt for his hand like that, or you can just kind of like what Robert was saying earlier is give him the cylinder, which is like this. So whatever strikes your fancy. But see how this line, it like goes where his, like it shows where the middle of his face is. You can go like this maybe. It shows where the bow tie goes directly under that. You follow that around again. It suggests, a roundness to his belly. And you kind of like, at that point, you can line up where that middle bit goes, and then you can give him his belly button somewhere on that line. And it sort of just goes, doot, doot, and then down to the floor, where everything lines up. And it kind of like, it kind of gives you. I wish I could do.
I have drawn so many teddy bears, and
yeah,
they're starting to look kind of creepy to me.
Like the one I showed.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of going into creepy land, and I'm just like, oh, I'm not doing this right.
There you go.
Awesome.
There you go. Anger bear! Laser eyes!
Laser bear.
Fire.
I win.
He went Gojira on you, huh?
Yep.
Tiny little marshmallow buildings below him.
Gojira. There you go.
Gojira. There you go.
Okay. Anyways, that's...
You actually know how to write that in kanji. That's funny.
I do. I took like 3 seconds of Japanese in college. But anyway, those are my ideas, and then that way everything will just kind of line up all the way down his frame instead of having things kind of like twist. Because right now, to me, like the drawing you showed us, like his head's going one way, his body's going another, and he's got one of his arms kind of popping in a weird way. So he looks like he's in the process of turning, kind of. Yeah. But if that's not what you were going for, having those kind of construction lines in there will really help keep everything tight.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's Carrie's dumb bear drawing tutorial.
Gojira bear, huh?
And it turned into a laser bear. Anyway.
I love it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
No, that actually helps. It's just, like I said, I'm trying to look at things too closely, and sometimes you need somebody else to step back and go, okay, come here. Let me show you this.
It's important to have people to talk to about this stuff, and even if it's somebody, on the interwebs or whatever, or even if you force your friends and family via physical coercion to talk about your stuff in a constructive way and not just like, I like it, then you're at a huge advantage compared to just creating in a vacuum and hoping that everything turns out okay. So, but yeah, this stuff's complicated, and it's not. Don't feel weird if you can't get it right away, because that's okay. Or just do a Robert and fly by the seat of your pants and see what happens. That's obviously worked in some way too. So, I mean, whatever makes you feel happy inside, probably is what you should do.
Happiness, yes, is getting lost in the anime. Oh my god. So basically, being sick, I have watched almost every bit of anime there is on Crunchyroll right now.
Have you watched The Devil as a Part-Timer?
Yes!
It's so funny. Sorry.
I've been watching
weirdest premise.
Monthly, what was it? Girls Monthly Nozaki-kun. And oh my god.
That one.
Oh my god, you need to watch that one. And
watch Yamishi Bai right before bed. That's Japanese creepypasta.
Oh man.
And they are scary sometimes. Just read that in bed, go right to sleep.
All right.
Have weird dreams.
Oh my god, spiral. Yes. Oh, the spiral.
No, I think this was a good conversation though, because we kind of went over different styles of how in depth you can go or not, with this stuff, like how things can become problematic, during the project, and then how a workshop can work with your buds.
Definitely.
So
it's called manga studio and screen sharing.
Yep, it helps.
Now, I think what I'm going to do for the rest of the day today is sit down with my notebook and just draw the piss out of teddy bears until I'm so creeped out I'm going to cry.
Yeah, you should see the piles and piles of terrible horses we drew, and how
my god,
and how many different styles or things that were so bad that they could not even be considered a style. So we just don't show you guys any of that stuff. Although I might if I get some of that away from Sarah. Oh god. Give me money so I reveal my shitty drawings to you.
Yes. No, you need to put that in like some of your first books, It's like, okay, these are some of our
this garbage.
Oh my god. Where did we get this shit?
I don't know.
This is crack. This is how you smoke it. Well, this is what comes out of it.
Yeah. Yuck.
All right. Anyways, we need to go. I need to go. Robert needs to go. Everybody needs to go.
I got a color. But yeah, good talk. Sorry
Definitely.
if I was the one that was talking the most. I tend to blab on and on.
No. I blab a lot. And I know poor Robert seems to just sit back and let us go.
He punches his way into the conversation.
Now and again, yes.
You still there, Robert?
Robert, yeah.
We may have lost Robert.
Yeah, he may have went and found the food.
Who knows when he was here last? His little static face is just sitting there. Maybe he can hear us right now. Well, Google Hangouts, you did it again.
Yes, we did it. All right.
Despite all kinds of technological adversity, we somehow did it.
Yes,
oh no, wait! I see a screen share of Robert's. He's probably drawing bloody bears. What's going on, bro?
Yeah,
Nothing.
we're watching.
Okay. I don't know if he can hear us. Is he
gonna
type to us? Yeah.
Yes.
I'm here.
I'm here!
Yay.
Oh, okay, so probably his microphone's having issues or something along the lines.
Robert's here in the same way that Carol Ann was here during Poltergeist.
Yes. Speaking to the static screen, yes.
Yes. Watch that while I color today. We're gonna have to venture into the moist, mucousy ceiling and get him out of there.
Yes, I think so. Oh my God, that would suck.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I'm a girl. Okay. Oh my God.
Lols. All right. Well, Robert's here in spirit, but we are going to go ahead and sign off. Hope that it's been helpful to, like, the three of you that listen. We love you.
Yes.
But anyways, happy drawing, happy character creating. Don't stop.
Yeah.
Get it. And,
have fun, everybody.
Yeah.
We will talk to you later. Thanks for stopping by. This is The Trade, episode 20.
Bye,
All
guys.
right. In the bag. Woo!
Bye. Robert says bye too.